Sig Mosquito in 22 long rifle. An interesting little 22 tactical trainer, possibly. Little 22 rimfire. Can fill a couple different roles. Either a plinking, kind of having fun, range gun, or a 22 option as far as doing a little tactical drills and kind of getting that Sig feel without the Sig cost or the price of centerfire ammunition. Interesting pistol, about 90% the size of a Sig 226. Cool little gun though, and one that I've seen a lot of negatives out there on the internet as far as a 22 option. Is it 100% reliable? Absolutely not. Not anywhere close. Is it 100% reliable with, CCI, nice, good 22 ammunition? Not 100%, but it's pretty good. And there's some key features I think that make this gun a neat little rig to run. If you run a Sig, it's an excellent option. Excellent option in that the controls are very similar. The feel is very similar. Even though slightly smaller, I'm still able to get a full grip on this gun. Slightly smaller than the 226. And it has a nice weight to it. It's about 24.5 ounces, which is not bad. I mean, it feels substantial. It feels like you have a gun. I think it definitely feels like a more substantial pistol than, say, the Walther P22. Does have a slide safety, kind of gay, but whatever. I think they have to have these on 22s for some reason. And it does have the standard hammer drop safety, as with most SIGs. The big difference in this compared to, say, a 226 is the trigger pull. Unlike most SIGs, which have a excellent trigger pull, this is pretty heavy. I think SIG claims like 12.5 pounds double action and 4 pounds or 4.5 pounds single action. I don't have a gauge, but it's definitely all of 12 pounds if that's the case. I do have a spent casing in here just to give you guys a look at the trigger pull. This is in double action, and it's starting to get really heavy, a little gritty, and then the break. And it's single action. Not too bad, a little stacking. Double action. I mean, you have to bear down to get that pulled and keep those sights aligned. And in single action again. Not too bad, very doable. So, where I see this gun fitting in is, as a tactical trainer. That's kind of what I envisioned it as, being able to run this in place of your SIG and get that same feel, that same muscle memory as far as where's my magazine release, where's my hammer drop safety. It's very similar in feel to that larger SIG. This one is the threaded barreled version for a suppressor. It does not have the standard 1/2x28 threads. You do have to get a barrel adapter or thread adapter if you want to run a can on this, which is kind of annoying. Your thread adapter is about $30 for most places. You can do a little worse, do a little better. This pistol does come with an extra spring and also sights, front sights, so you can change your elevation. The rear sight is drift adjustable, and these are overall, I would say, some fairly cheap looking sights for a SIG, but at the price point, you can't complain too much. They do work. It is possible to do 6-inch plates at 25 yards. Accuracy with this thing is doable in single action. However, like I said, there is a decent amount of trigger pull in double action, and even somewhat of a gritty stacking feel in single action as well. I've done a few things with this pistol in order to try to smooth up that trigger. I did do a little 25-cent trigger job on it, and also I removed one of the spacers on the hammer spring to help reduce the recoil a little bit, or reduce the trigger pull. It's still heavy, and the downside on this pistol is that trigger, in my opinion. The accuracy is okay. I mean, you can hold a 1-inch group at 10 yards, no problem. But you really have to master that trigger to be able to shoot this gun well. It is not an easy gun to shoot well, like most SIGs. Kind of a downside for me. The other limitation, in my opinion, is it does, like a lot of 22s, have a magazine disconnect. When the magazine is removed, the trigger cannot be fired, which not a big fan of, but it is what it is. It does have a Picatinny rail. Awesome. It is a plastic, but so far it seemed to be reliable. I have attached some lights just for kicks to see how it ran, and it ran okay. One other criticism is the slide catch it really sticks out, and I oftentimes find myself with a high thumb grip riding that slide catch and causing the last shot hold open to not work, and I have to mentally think, okay, I've got to scoop my thumb out away from the frame so it will lock back on the last shot. Despite some of the bad reviews, it does seem to fire bulk ammo. At least this one does for me. I run a lot of cheap 22 ammo through it, and it does pretty good. I do have a few malfunctions, as with any 22 pistol, but I wouldn't consider it excessive. Magazine options there's not a lot. There is both a steel and polymer magazine that's available through Sig. This is the polymer version, which I have had several problems with. Most of my malfunctions come with this magazine. Steel magazine does pretty good. It's pretty reliable, and I've had very few, if any, malfunctions with this steel magazine. Cost is about $36 to $32, depending upon steel or polymer. I would definitely recommend going steel. It does make a big difference, it seems, in this pistol anyways. Overall, cool little 22 design. Yes, it is much more reliable when suppressed versus non-suppressed, or when running good CCI ammunition, but it will run with bulk ammo and a cool little trainer gun. Just for a little size comparison, I have the car 9mm with me today, just to give you an idea. Cool little 22. If you own a Sig 226, in my opinion, you should be running one of these. It's a cool little gun and worth the money you're going to find it for. I see these are for around $300 to $350, and you could probably do a little better, a little worse. But for the money, an excellent little 22 that has some similar function. Another downside is we don't have a lot of options as far as holsters go. I run it oftentimes in a Uncle Mike's kind of just generic holster. If it's a lot of guns, it works pretty well with that. There is a polymer or Kydex holster out, but that's about the only option. And once again, I have not found any other magazine options from other sources than Sig. And like all things Sig, they're very proud of them, and they will charge you for them. Magazine release, very easily accessed with firing grip. The mags do fall free. It's a nice feature. Takedown is pretty easy. Rotator takedown lever. Pull the slide up and back at the same time. Comes down pretty easy. Does not have a captive recoil spring. Just to give you a look at the internals on this thing. not too bad. Putting it back together isn't the easiest, but it isn't the hardest either. So there you go, quick little look at the Sig Sauer Mosquito in 22. An excellent little trainer, or just a range fun gun. Fun to shoot. It definitely is that. This is Doc 6mm signing out. Running like a champ for how dirty it is.